These are the 5 most common blocks to being in alignment. So as we go through this video, you might start to identify specific blocks that you have. And the intention of this is to strategize on how to move through the blocks. So for the past 10 years, I've been working with clients one-on-one, in groups, and in programs. And the heart of our work is about alignment and authenticity and returning to your divine nature. And one program, this is a bit of a condensed format of some of what we cover in Path of the Heart, where we're looking at alignment, but at the end of the day, it's about sustainability. Because if the blocks aren't removed, you're only going to get to a certain level. Things are going to get capped for you. You might have big breakthroughs, you might have momentum, but if the block is there, you're going to stop or go or regress. There could be regression that happens if the blocks are still there. So blocks essentially are these unforeseen barriers that are keeping you from being who you are, that are keeping you from being in alignment, that are keeping you from being true to yourself, that are keeping you from living abundantly in all ways. So when we start to identify what these are, when you're able to move through them, those barriers and those blocks are moved, because the blocks and barriers equal stagnancy. When the blocks are removed, we have flow. There is flow. So the first block that we're going to talk about is lack of clarity, lack of direction, lack of purpose. Like when you're feeling really, really lost, when you're in those spaces where you don't know where you're going, what you're doing, who you are, picking alignment or being in alignment might not necessarily come easy to you because you feel stuck. And first off, where we would go to that, if you're in this space of feeling stuck, it would be a wonderful opportunity to ask yourself, A, how is this serving me? Because please know, any situation that we're in, these are co-creations with the divine. We've got contractual blueprints, so to speak, for our soul. So in that moment, in that time of being stuck, how is it serving you? It must be serving you in one way, shape, or form. For example, if you're stuck, it might, let's say you're stuck, you're feeling stuck in a career, and you just feel trapped, you feel stuck. So perhaps being that stuck feeling is what is a catalyst to get you to switch into something different, to get you to get out of a career that you're not happy with, right? So how is this serving you in this moment? The feeling stuck, the lack of clarity, the lack of direction. Where would I be if I didn't feel stuck, right? So asking yourself, where would you be if there was any other place than this stuck feeling? Where would it be? Where would you go? Where would you want to be? Who would you be? And then taking responsibility for that as well. So to look at what are steps that are in your power to help facilitate that. And if in that moment, what can you do to make the best of that situation, the best of not feeling clear, the best of not having direction, the best of feeling lost? How can you make that situation the best? So we can also have old stories that come up from the past. So when we're talking about alignment, remember, this is like that true north, like the compass that is your true north. That is alignment. And authenticity and alignment go hand in hand. However, we're focusing on alignment today. So think of like aligned choices, aligned states of being is your true north, not anybody else's. Your true north is not going to be the same as anybody else's. You could have, common interests. There could be other individuals that have similar directions. Like they could be going to the same north area, but like your true north is yours. So you could have old stories about, your decisions from the past. Like this could be stuff coming up from the past where you chose your true north and it wasn't received well, or you chose your true north and it didn't work out the way that you wanted it to be. And could we also say God, source, creator, the divine, there is a divine plan. So the way that you want it to be, or the way that you think it might need to be, or the way that it has to be, might not actually be the divine plan. So to also be open to trusting that, yes, you're going to make the moves. You're going to follow your true north. Like there's those steps that you're initiating. And at the same time, being open to allowing it, being open to allowing the divine plan to unfold. Because this, once again, is co-creation with the divine. We're living a life of co-creation with the divine. So even though you could have those old stories flowing through, or, clouding the vision or creating those blocks, you don't have to subscribe to them. You don't have to keep perpetuating the old stories. You are the author of your life. You can create new stories. You can write new stories. You can write new choices. You can write new states of being into your script. You can write being in alignment in your script. So block number 3, energetic misalignment. This is a huge one. I don't even know why I didn't mention it as number 1. This is a big one. All of those times and ways you have said yes to something when deep down inside it is a no. Your sacred no. When you have not honored your sacred no, not honoring your sacred no. So energetic alignment, we could even say, is when you're not honoring your sacred no. That's a huge block. Because every time you say yes to something, to the external world, because you think you have to, you don't want to upset people, you want to be, everything and anything to everyone, you don't want to disappoint people, you are saying no to yourself. Like sticking the dagger, and so much of these blocks are about self-worth. Blocks to alignment, blocks to authenticity, blocks to money, like all woven into self-worth. So the third block that we're talking about, the energetic misalignment, is not giving value or honoring your sacred no. So even thinking of, because you feel it, in your being when a yes is a yes and a no is a no. And sometimes, I hear some of you saying, well, sometimes I don't. Like, I hear you, there's the confusion. And could we just say God, source, creator, universe, divine is not the author of confusion? Okay. So, when a yes is a yes, and when a no is a no. And to move through that block is to honor the sacred no. Because when you don't, it builds resentment, it could put you in precarious situations where you are not only miserable with other people, with yourself. Then we could even talk into like how this affects you even more. Then you and your spirit, like you don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself and your choices when you're not honoring your sacred no. So block number 4, disconnected from authenticity. Remember, we were talking about like alignment and authenticity can go hand in hand. When you're not connected to who you are, when you don't know who you are, when you don't remember that you are the living embodiment of spirit, when you don't remember your divine nature, you could almost feel like the wheels are spinning and you're not going anywhere. And it's a lot easier, okay? Like life hack. It's a lot easier to make aligned choices when you're feeling comfortable and confident with who you are and how you are. And we could even talk about authenticity being morals, values, beliefs, right? The core of your being is your authenticity, which then really makes those aligned choices easier, which really allows the state of being in alignment much easier when you're connected to your authenticity. So as we just mentioned, perhaps exploring what are your values? What are your morals? What is important to you and why? And if you've got question marks, right now, if you're hearing that, I don't know what, like if you have question marks right now when we're saying, what are your morals? What are your values? Why are these important to you and why? hmm Then this is an opportunity for you to clear out all the external noise. This is the invitation to go inward because you may have been connected from yourself and turned down the volume to your spirit and the divine for a very long time. So, simple ways to reestablish that connection or to strengthen the signal to that connect, because we're never cut off. Can we just say we're never cut off? However, for many different reasons, this could be safety, this could be self-preservation, protection, putting these barriers around us, which are blocks. Blocks, no flow when there's blocks. So creating time to be with yourself. And if you've got those old stories, see like where we're talking about, you might identify multiple blocks as we go through this video. If you've got those old stories saying you're not good enough or, you don't matter, all lies. But if you've got those stories going on, it could be very hard for you to want to go within. It could be very hard for you to want to spend time to get to know yourself if you've got these polluted false truths and stories permeating through you. However, when we open ourselves up to our spirit and go through this journey of knowing that we are divinity walking, that can shift all of these blocks. So for you, feeling disconnected to yourself, take time to go into the heart space. It could be like it's taking a couple moments. You could put your hands on your chest, on your heart, clear out all external noise, bring your focus into the heart, and do some heart breathing. It's where you're breathing in and out through the heart. And to do that for a couple breaths, like start to create this as a practice for yourself to just give yourself those moments to be in the heart. And then the more that you do that, because this is showing up for yourself too. And the more that you show up for yourself, the more that you build trust with yourself. And then the more that your authenticity can start to reveal itself to you in a way in which that you know and understand. And now the fifth block, responsibility. The fear of the responsibility, like for that last block we talked about of creating this heart breathing practice for yourself, it's on you to follow through with that. It is on you to follow through. And sometimes when you're choosing a path of alignment, when you're being in alignment, not everybody is going to like it. Not everybody is going to understand it. And through that, there is this sense of accountability to yourself and to your choices. And with that accountability, there is a huge responsibility with that. Because, for example, going back to block number 3, the not honoring your sacred no, if you've been saying yes to people in your life when it's really been a no for you, and then you start to create those boundaries of using your sacred no, you're going to have to be accountable to yourself to honor that, to follow through with that, and to be responsible to those choices. And sometimes that can be very intimidating to be in that place. And some of you might be like listening to this and you're like, yeah, no, I've got it. Good, you've got it. Can you go deeper? There are layers to healing. There are layers to transformation. There are layers to alignment. There are layers to authenticity. Can you go deeper? Have you only gotten to a certain level? Do you feel like you're perfectly in alignment, but there's specific areas of your life that aren't flowing? Because when we are being in alignment, there is flow in all areas of our lives. When you are being in alignment, I'm repeating this again, there is flow in all areas of our lives. So, perfect example, 2022, I believe. 2022, 2023 even, but like the end of 2022 going into 2023 was a bit of a shift in my perspective because like I would have been that person right now saying, "Yeah, I'm good." Like I felt like I was in alignment, my business was going good, friendships were going good, like everything was flowing, but the relationship that I was in was toxic and it was not that was not like what was going on was not in alignment, but I wasn't block number 5 accountability and responsibility. I was not going there. So if you are watching this in this moment in this time and you're saying, I'm fully in alignment. Okay, but are all areas, look at all areas of your life. Is career, is finances, is partnerships, is parenthood, is, family dynamics. So like are all areas in your life flowing? And if they are, celebrating you. And if they're not, how can you explore where potential blocks for alignment are? So I'm doing a master class on January 10th, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and it's called Aligned and Authentic. So we're going to dive into more of the blocks to authenticity, how to identify them, and how to work with them, how to remove them. Because remember, we want flow. We want flow. We don't want barren blocks, stagnancy. We want flow. And 2025 and beyond, authenticity is the currency. So we want authenticity flowing. So you're invited to join the masterclass. There will be a replay and looking forward to diving into authenticity, diving into deeper levels of alignment with you. Lots of love. Mwah.